whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's gotta be biblical.
Hello and welcome to Patriots Across the Pond and Friends, Red-Pilling Renee Episode 4. Hope everyone's doing well. Stu and I are dragging today, not gonna lie. I got like 3 hours of sleep, and what's wrong with you? You got a headache, right?
I'm not banging headache, but yeah, I'm all right. Consummate professionals we are, and the show goes on.
How you doing, Renee?
Doing good.
How are you?
Doing good. So I realized this morning how different things are in my life. I'm rushing to get on a podcast.
Yeah.
Good.
So like something happens and it's just like you go from novelty to commitment. So I'm at commitment. So
good.
How's your week been?
Yeah, it was just
my week has been very, I think it's been very good. I think there's been a lot of good building. We're in the middle of the trial right now, and I had a revelation on how to really crack it, so it's very positive, very good.
Good.
How's this awakening affected your work life in court and stuff?
It's made it more interesting because it's helped me get perspective on what's important. It's like I never felt really stressed before, but I was very single-minded in what I had to do. And now, I realize that there's a lot more going on that is in front of my eyes.
Yeah. So has it changed your approach sort of ethically, in any way? Because obviously I don't know exactly what you do in court, but it can be a ruthless business, can't it?
No, well, yeah. So this one, I'm not doing the trial. My colleague is doing it, and he's actually my friend. We were best friends in college and law school, believe it or not, and then we kind of like drifted apart. And now we're, going to the gym together. We're planning vacations together again. It's great. It's almost like I've got like a new energy about me, which is great. And I think I have to thank Elisa in many ways, not just because of who she is, but because she's improved my water.
You got your copper cup there.
Yeah.
How you like my copper cup? It's
nice.
real copper.
Is this friend that you're hanging out with more? Does he know like what you're, kind of dealing with and going through?
So it's wild. So he was actually a drama major back in school. And when I told him that I'm on a podcast, he's like, "You jerk. You didn't tell me."
Really?
How come I haven't seen this? How come I'm not on it? So I told him what it's about. And trust me, you're going to have a lot of special guests because the word in professional circles is getting around here in New York.
Wow. So what do you tell them, like, that you're on a podcast? Like, what do you say? How do you describe? Because everybody goes, "Oh, what's your podcast about?" Like, people, do they assume it's yours? Do they assume you're a guest?
No, it's interesting. So I have like a little, like a catch introduction to this.
Okay.
And like, you've been seeing some weird shit lately, huh? And like, yeah. It's like, what's going on? Interesting you say that. And then I go into a conversation. Like every day there's like new stuff. Like this morning my whole like upside downness has to do with Iran. So I'm going to just spit out potential reasons why we're there. Maybe we can work off of that. I'm just trying to like isolate, like, in law school we had, I may have mentioned this before. So I had a torts professor. His name was Professor Timon. And Professor Timon would say, this was back in, law school. So this is in the late 90s, right? And back then the computers weren't like, that spectacular, right? We were still pretty early in this stuff. And we would say, because this is to get the students to understand that it's all about issue spotting versus the answer. So issue spotting is, where the big lawyers are created. Like, like when I said I cracked the code, like I just cracked it on this case, I spotted the issue and now I know how to attack the issue. So it's issue spotting versus answers. He would say, if you want the answer, you just check on your floppy disk. That's how he'd say it. It's like, if you want the answer, just check the floppy disk. But the floppy disk can't identify the issue. Okay. So I think that's where we're still important, even though we have these huge databases of storage accessible throughout the world. It still it requires a curious human being to spot issues.
Yeah.
So here we go. You ready for all the various issues of Iran that I've picked up? And I'm just curious, what percentage of the issues that I've picked up?
Okay, let me just ask you one quick question. I know you've got yourself a copper cup, but have you got yourself one of those yet?
No, that one's special order.
Okay. Go.
All right, so these are the issues. I'm going to spit out the issues, and I'm just curious what piece of the pie I have figured out. Like issues. I'm not saying anything is right. I'm not saying anything is wrong. I want to just spot the issue. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. First issue, petrodollar. All right, I'm just going to put them out there. The fact that Iran goes through other channels and not the peg dollar to oil. One. Israeli compromat on God knows who. Two. APAC lobby. Three.
Biggest lobbyists in the world.
In the world. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. You ready for the fun?
Yeah.
Stargate 10. How you like that one?
Yeah.
Love it.
So I was at a
Didn't see
meeting.
that one coming.
No, I was at a meeting last night with a famous forex trader. Because I'm always getting information for everything I do, and I looked at him, and I was like, I swear to God, this is like a high-end restaurant in Huntington. Like we're having like a very high-end meal. I go to him. Do you know what a Stargate is? I swear to God.
What did he do?
I was like,
is he like a normie?
I wouldn't call him a normie. No, he's got a girlfriend who has a smaller hat than Stu, but still a hat nevertheless. No, he's not quite a normie, but he's not at the Stargate level.
Okay.
All right. So then we have end of times prophecy, Judaism, and death cult Christianity. Complete compromise on Donald Trump somehow. Issues, not answers, issues. We have to discuss all issues. The Palladians told us to do it. We're fighting the crocodilians. How you like that? What other issues? Oil dominance. Now that we've got Venezuela, why not make the pie even bigger and dominate oil, lower prices, and grow our economy that way. Use oil to convert it into various cryptos, blow up crypto, and knock out the national debt. I mean, I could go on.
Well, let's.
Let me ask him though one question. Is there one that feels right to you? You know?
No,
Okay, was just
I
curious.
seriously listen. I have come to the point where I have incredible admiration and respect for Donald Trump.
Wow.
I am assuming that it is a combination of things. Various points. There's no way they're going to risk. Oh, and there's more, like prevent World War III, cause World War III. Prevent issues. I don't know the answer, but I know it's an issue. Launch a nuke. Prevent a nuke. So it's launch it for whatever reason or means, or prevent it for obvious reasons and means, or maybe it's not obvious.
Okay.
And then that would maybe bring in the ushering of some kind of new era with extraterrestrials or new technology, who knows? So I think, Elisa, it's a combination of things. Because you're not going to put troops at risk, their lives, if it's just one thing.
Right.
I just don't, I don't think, I think you would find other ways to do it if it's just one thing. But if it's like a whole basket of things that are like existentially important, then you send in the armada.
Right.
I mean, I'm just thinking, to allocate assets of the levels that we're doing, you better have a lot of good reasons.
Well, I can give you the one good reason is to save humanity from the people that wanted to eradicate humanity.
Right, but what does save humanity mean? Does it mean that they have a nuke and there's a DEFCON 4 threat for them to use it? Like
no, it's bigger than that.
What is it? Because
look at Iran as a piece. It's a piece on the chessboard. It's not the thing. So when Stu says save humanity, let's just go back for a second, that their plan was to take out the majority of humans, right? By the means that, let's say...
this is not the Iranians, by the way. This is the worldwide cabal.
Right, the cabal.
All right, let's clarify that. Yeah, because I'm thinking still geopolitically. I'm thinking Iran.
Right. Iran is a piece in the puzzle. And look, if you're trying to take out a worldwide cabal, right, that we believe, we don't know anything really, but we believe that they wanted to take out most of humanity. They think we're the problem. We're useless eaters, whatever they're going to use us for, slavery, food, whatever. And then we have the military, right? This alliance around the world. Maybe we're being also helped by, higher density beings, whatever. So if you take that premise, then you say, well, how do you do this? You have to do it in a very strategic way. And there's all different aspects geographically that come into play, right? And within those geographical areas are specific threats. And if we remember that each country, if you will, has its own deep state. Like they're all kind of connected, but you got the good guys and the bad guys, so to speak. So if you take that premise, then you say, okay, so maybe Iran is just a part of this, right? Venezuela was a part of this. Right. Greenland is a part of this, like all these different places around the world. Then you start to say, well, maybe it's not one thing like you're saying, and maybe what's going on is to get this whole peace. Like, he's worked very hard to bring peace. So unfortunately, sometimes you have to sort of knock out the person so that the good people can take over and provide the peace that you're looking for. So that's sort of like just the bird's eye view.
Yeah.
And also remember, when it comes to weapons and stuff like that, you know, I'm of the belief, from what I've heard, Stu, I don't know if we ever talked about this, but I am not sure that nukes really exist. And if they ever existed, and if it was a fear tactic to control people. However, what does exist is high energy weapons. So when you see something like precisionally on fire and nothing around it is burning,
Right.
and no one else got hurt, those are these energy weapons that they're using.
Sorry,
Yeah, I
Directed.
again, I don't know what I'm seeing. I don't know what is real anymore. I really
And
don't.
we don't either. So
I don't know.
Iran might
don't
not even be happening. It might not be happening in the way it might have already.
Right.
Don't forget, we're watching this movie. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's very interesting because we've always a lot of us have speculated that if they were going to give us any kind of clues about what's going on, i.e. the Q drops starting in 2017, right? October 2017, then everything would have technically had to have been done. Because if we could figure it out or speculate, so could the enemy. So they're not going to run that risk. And remember, Donald Trump said, I will never, ever let the enemy know what we're doing or announce what our military operations are. Then you combine that with someone like Joe Rosati, who we were on the show with that day, who knows someone who's working behind the scenes, who said, hey, you guys are watching a movie. Yeah, there's little pieces here and there that we're still kind of fixing and cleaning up, but the majority of everything was done by 2015, which sort of makes sense because
Crazy.
if you look at the Obama administration, right, and we've all sort of taken the position that he's a traitor and he did this and he did that, and we don't know, maybe he did. However, during his administration, he passed one of the most important executive orders that would not have been what the enemy was doing. So was he controlled by that point by the good guys? So I'm kind of going in all these directions just to put the perspective of where Iran fits in. And even though it's on the news and it's a big thing, I also want to say something else. We spoke about this yesterday. I don't know who we spoke about this with, Stu, but someone said, you've got a situation over here in Iran and all the Americans are focused on it and concerned with it and worried. And well, how come you're not worried about what's going on in your own country, quite frankly? How come you're not concerned about child trafficking? How come you're not concerned about the corruption? How come you're not concerned about the fraud that took place during an election? So people are still not awake, is what I'm saying. And some of these things, everybody wakes up with different things. So that's all I'm going to say.
I mean, look, I mean, I've just been busy. I haven't really been watching a lot of news, but I would imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, that this war is 24/7.
Well,
Yeah.
Right. That's like the news cycle is the war now, right? I would assume.
Yeah.
All right. So what happens when you do that? Americans have amnesia. They're not thinking about Epstein files.
Exactly. It's distraction.
Voila.
Yeah.
And we think of it as like, because we were talking yesterday with these two guys that we have on the show every couple of weeks, JF Anon and Sapioplex. And one of the things that they said, which was very interesting, is that you've got people that have been kind of controlled around the world, right? So now they start hearing this stuff. So that can really either put people in the hospital or it can make them take actions that can hurt themselves or others, right? People just start freaking out. Just example, stuff comes out about the medical industry and how corrupt it is, or how, cures were available. And you're thinking, well, I had to watch my mother die, or I had to lose my husband, or people can go crazy, right? And harm themselves. So we used to think like the distraction was all about getting eyes off of something. And it very well may have been in the past. But what if of recent years, the distraction is to quell a little bit? To say we're putting out they're getting a lot of information. We don't want these people to go freaking nuts.
I think people are handling it. It's kind of weird. Like,
but they're handling it, but they're not. They're getting fed it, and
they're
then
not
there's
reacting.
Distraction. and then they're
Right.
getting fed it, and then there's a distraction. So the psyche can kind of handle.
Right. Yeah, but it's also boiling the frog. So it's like you also become desensitized to it. Also, that's the flip side of it. Did you see the Paris Fashion Week?
No.
Oh my God. Look up Paris
Satanic?
Fashion. Crazy. Everyone's dressed up as a demon.
Yeah. I did see
It's
some
so
weird-
obvious, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I mean, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No, they're trying to get us used to living amongst them, I think.
Or the white hats are in control and they're putting these people out there dressed as demons to make
To
people
mock
go,
them.
what the fuck?
To
Look
mock
at it.
them.
Look at these people.
mean-
Yeah. Now, Rene, where
Again,
do you
issue spotting, not answers. I don't know. It's just, I find it bizarre that in Fashion Week, they're dressed as like demons. In Fashion Week.
Rene, where do you get your news from on the mainstream? Which channels do you watch if you do?
I don't really watch TV. I read articles as I get them. I read like real articles. I'm on X now. I like X. There's a lot of information on X. I occasionally put on like CNN or Fox or like go on a website for like New York Times, Washington Post, but just to read it if I see an article that I find interesting, that's it.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
would say that the mainstream media is at different levels. You know how we talk about this 5D chess? So everybody's at a different level. So the news, because we kind of believe at this point the news is all controlled by the white hats, but they're going to each audience where they can meet them at the level. So CNN is probably one of the worst, and then for real sleepyheads. And then Fox is probably a step up, but in truth, you're probably going to get the best news from your fellow awakened who are
Right.
kind of doing research. So you might want to be like, X isn't bad depending on who you follow, but also like Telegram, because
Believe it or not, when I was in the Bahamas, I found myself watching Al Jazeera.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is news. Like I was like, this is pretty good. So
Well,
I found myself in the Bahamas like every day watching Al Jazeera.
I tell you what, one of the main channels I used to watch in my awakening was Russia Today. They were putting out so much more
Wow.
stuff that we related to in the truther movement to many, many other things. Let me just comment on a couple of those things. CNN is the absolute worst. CNN and MSNBC, Rachel Madcow and that lot,
Right.
and all the others.
or is she Rachel or Roger?
But these are the channels you want to look in to see what they're saying, right? Because they're telling on themselves, and we are seeing articles come out and have you seen this? That was on CNN. No way. Fox News, we've got Matrix Codebreaker. Now I can show you some of his stuff. His mind is amazing how he relates to Q drops. We are getting Foxcoms from Fox News all the time that are directly relating us back to the Q drops. So it seems that 117%, the white hats are in control of that. Jesse Waters and all these other people, they are saying things to give us comms, to put information out.
Okay.
The New York Times, Mike King calls it the Q York Times because there's so much in there now that is giving us information directly relating back to the Q drops and this story unfolding. But many of these establishment things, whether the white hats control them or who controls them, you've got to take them with a pinch of salt. Now, are you on Telegram at all?
I am, but I use it for a phone call that I absolutely need to make sure that it's encrypted. Like, just with like colleagues, stuff like that. I don't really get news from Telegram. I just use it almost like my bat phone type of thing.
Okay. Well, if I add you to my Stu's News channel, and if Lisa wants to add you to her Awaken Patriots Islands, right? Oh, we'll do that later. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I get up, well, a few hours before you guys, so that when you get up in the morning, you might have 40, 50 posts in there from me, right, in my news. And whether you're sitting on the toilet, that's just stuff you can have a little flick through. And there's, because since you aren't started, I've done other things, but I've listened to all the shows I listen to and analyze things. I've watched people posting Telegram, General Flynn and people like this. What's going on? Situational awareness. Now, I've read so much that I've forgotten it to deliver to you now. Do you know what I mean? It would take hours.
Amazing.
But
yeah.
If you follow my Telegram channel, you will get the gist of what I'm getting every morning. When you wake up, it'll take 10, 15 minutes to have a little flick through. Oh, and a little read bit there, a little video there. If there's anything that's a little bit like they're fighting crocodiles, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I'm certainly there at least a good 20 minutes every day.
Yeah. Good. Well, that'd be a good thing to do anyway.
Great.
And I think the way your mind works, if we can give you one show a day, just you can have a watch of, it talks you into the Q drops, the politics, the geopolitics, what Trump's saying.
Yeah, that's good. But tell me, like, Renee, this one's for you, like type of thing. Like, right. Renee, this one. Renee, this. Otherwise, it's like,
okay.
Yeah, I'm like swimming in it.
Renee, the X-22 report is for you, right? So,
all right, so send it over.
I will. I'll send you his channel. Now he does 6 shows a week, I believe, has a Sunday off, and they go online 8 o'clock at night Eastern time. So it's the first thing I watch every morning whilst I'm going through all my Telegram. So you can watch it in the evening if you have time, or watch it early the next day. But I will send you that. Dave's been doing this for about good 10 years. He's done thousands of episodes, but it is a general all-round thing. And he does 2 shows a day. The Geopolitical, what we're talking about, is about an hour long, between 45 minutes and an hour and 15. Right? Okay. And then he also does a financial show as well. Geopolitical is part B, financial is part A. 2 separate shows. And
I find that interesting. That's really cool.
Yeah, the financial show is only about 15, 20 minutes normally.
So what's the financial show about?
So it talks about, like he was
money and gold and silver and finances and what's going on.
Exactly. And he does bring in the central bank, like at least going back, like when we probably started listening to him, he was a very good educator, if you will, into this overall control system. And so now he's giving sort of the updates, but you never see Dave. And we don't know what he looks like, and we don't really know, like, at this point, who he is, or if he's even a person, or like in the sense of maybe he's an operation. But he takes what's really going on in a very 3-dimensional way. He relates it to Q. He relates it to it's very digestible. Let me put it that way. Very digestible how he explains it. He's very repetitious, just like Trump is, which makes me think he's, there's some connection there. But it would be really a really good thing for you to listen to on the regular.
Definitely. I mean, that's I go deeper than that. I watch people really going into the analysis and comms and all these sorts of things. But Dave is just the best show. It's the first thing I watch every day.
That's really cool. That's good to know. That's really cool.
Good. So I'll link you up with that and my Telegram afterwards. Let's.
Let me just before I forget this thought. So I know you guys are friends with him, the guy from Ancient Aliens.
Oh, Mike Barra.
Yeah. So Giselle and I, my wife, we used to just watch it all the time just for complete entertainment, and we would just look at each other and say, "Ancient Aliens theorized."
Yeah.
But now, so we actually, like, I'm kind of like telling her slowly what's going on here. And she goes to me the other day, let's watch Ancient Aliens. I'm like, okay, let's watch Ancient Aliens. So we put on Ancient Aliens, and lo and behold, it's a whole thing about the Book of Enoch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've been hearing about this. Let's keep watching this. And yeah,
So if you're
yeah.
just as an aside, because you even when before you were like awake, I know you were into all that. If you
Not
want to,
into it, but like I would watch it, and I
yeah,
found it incredibly entertaining and deeply on a cellular level. I knew there was some truth to it.
right,
I knew it. I've been to, I've been to Machu Picchu. I've seen it because my wife is Peruvian,
right,
so she's from Peru. So I've flown over the Nazca lines twice. I just found it incredibly unusual to
yeah,
have these glyphs in the middle of the desert. I'm like, because I realized, like even like in the animal kingdom, you don't exert energy unless there's a benefit.
right,
The cheetah is not going to run at 60 miles an hour for 3 miles to get an impala. It'll do it for like 500 yards or like 1,000 yards and then quit,
right,
because there's an analysis of energy and benefit. I'm like, why would these people do this if there wasn't a real benefit? And they're all different. One's a spaceman. Like, it's like all this stuff. And then in Machu Picchu, which I'm now hearing is a Stargate. Am I wrong? That's one of the Stargates. It's SG something. It's in Machu. There are actually two in Peru, I think.
okay,
There's
I
like a
didn't know
list.
that.
There's like a list of like 12 or 20 of them. I saw it somewhere.
I
You
mean,
Wow.
there's
could
a lot of discussion. That's why I
fact
went.
check me on this.
There's a lot of discussion. That's why I went into Iraq to get these artifacts.
Right.
Stargate
And
and things.
apparently one of the Stargates was underneath Saddam Hussein's house.
Potentially, yeah. We can't prove
We don't
this.
know for sure, right? We hear this, but what I was just going to say
Classified.
on the side, just if you
And
need
then
entertainment,
Gilgamesh apparently is a big deal.
Listen, you can,
Gilgamesh is like a breeding between one of the extraterrestrials and a human. He's like he lived to 120 something years old, and
well, this is
Hillary Clinton was obsessed with Gilgamesh. And
well, Gilgamesh is that the elephant head and the sort of like 8 arms?
no, that's from Indian mythology. That's Ganesh.
Right.
This is Gilgamesh. So
Yeah.
if you look up Gilgamesh, Gilgamesh was a hybrid. He lived he ruled ancient Samaria, something, for over 100 years, but he's essentially a cross between one of the extraterrestrials and a human.
okay,
And he was a giant. Remember the giants?
yeah.
It's like a whole biblical thing. Like the giants
They
rule
even
the
say
earth.
they were around, like they were, I guess their offspring, their lineage was supposedly, you still had a lot of giants, like in the 1800s and the early
Yeah,
19.
but this is like pre Noah's Ark. This is
Okay.
like,
Yeah, I don't
I
know
don't
that
know.
much about it, though I know the whole Gilgamesh, but
Apparently Gilgamesh is very important somehow.
I think it all like ties in, but you may want to just look if you're just bored and you want to kind of be entertained. There are two people I would totally recommend to you. Dr. Michael Sala, he has a channel on YouTube and Rumble, and he's got some really cool stuff that he deals with. And then if you can, I think his channel came down, but Alex Collier, Collier, he is amazing. Now he's a contactee who has been working with the Andromedas, and he allegedly, we've gotten a lot of information from him through this relationship, and he's very articulate and very brilliant. He's an older man. He's one of the first people, like 30 years, I guess over 30, 35, 40 years
Wow.
ago, and he came out with this, and he had to go away for a while because they were literally threatening to kill him. So but those are two. And I know he's also been on Laura Eisenhower too, like they're good friends, but that's just like, forget about like the awakening, even though it's related. That's just like, just for you if you like are just curious because you're open-minded about that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and by the way, thanks to you folks, I'm never bored anymore.
No.
Ever.
Good.
Ever.
That's the same as me. And just, it doesn't matter who you listen to, including us. Take everything with a pinch of salt and use your discernment, and then go and do your own research. Do you know what I mean? Because there is Listen,
Yeah.
there is a lot of people out there in this truth movement that are pretending to be on the side of good that are not. They're trying to steer people down.
Yeah.
You know, if some people
Yeah.
even say that about some of the stuff on ancient aliens, you know, and Dr. Stephen Greer, you know, this whole disclosure movement is to take people away from other things, you know. So we've got to just take as much on board as we can, but hold back. And the reason I said Ganesh is because I remember the cover. They put Obama on Newsweek once with the 8 arms there, God of all things. Now, obviously,
the 8 arms, that would be, is that Sheba? Sheba the Destroyer?
Might be, but it was just
Ganesh is the elephant one.
Yeah, the elephant, but with the arms as well. But if that is Sheba the Destroyer, then that says exactly, doesn't it? It's got Newsweek, God of all things, Obama with its 6 arms. Subconsciously, he's come to destroy. He is the you know the face of the Muslim Brotherhood or whatever he was, you know, initially.
Yeah, and I just want to go back to this because you guys were talking about something very interesting before that just stuck in me. That each country, now everything is like a quote, like I don't even know what anything is anymore, has its own deep state. So that's a problem because you don't even know who is actually like a good country anymore. Like how we used to think of things, the US versus the Soviets, that was easy. US and North Korea, that it turns out that nothing's easy. Like nothing is black and white at all. So within Iran, I'm sure there are white hats within Iran. I'm sure of it. I'm sure there are dark hats within Israel, white hats within Israel. It's like it's a big mishmash.
Yeah. 100%.
Like you don't. It's like you almost want everyone to just blow each other up. It's like, or not.
Yeah. Well, you have to remember the people are just the pawns, you know, and so, you know, of course, there's a negative faction, right? Like a lot of people viewed, and I think it was done on purpose, again, strategically, like with North Korea, you know, Rocket Man and all those derogatory things he would say. But then we sort of find out that dynasty, they were being held hostage by the deep state. So Trump actually liberated that. Well, you know, the military liberated them, and that guy loves Trump. And he has allegedly a very nice relationship with that guy because, but for the public sake, a lot of these things had to be done a certain way to look like they were our enemies, so that we could go in and take care of that and take, you know.
But one thing, you know, as a lawyer, we always, you know, we get used to this. Like it's, you know, it's follow the money. Like it tends to be. Follow the money, follow the leverage, you know, follow the money, follow the leverage. And I think if you put that lens on, that always tends to be true.
Yeah.
You know, because I started thinking about Bill Gates. You know, why would Bill Gates want to, like, allegedly do these things to decimate populations? Allegedly, of course. And you know, and then I start thinking, well, if you extrapolate AGI, you know, artificial intelligence, when it starts getting to super intelligence, and we start treating aging as a disease, and people start living a very, very, very long time, then from a billionaire's perspective, theoretically, it would make sense to decimate populations because people are going to be around for a long, long, long time. And then eventually, like you have the lemmings, you know, with the lemmings, where they start committing suicide with the overpopulation. He might have maybe was thinking like in that way, like if we're going to start living to 200, 300, 400 years, or who knows, then we better start getting rid of people now. Allegedly, perhaps a theory. I don't know.
Well, if you think of Bill Gates, you have to think it's not just Bill Gates, right? Because most people don't know his parents. And they don't know. Yes, Stu, you want to enlighten him a little?
Tell me more. I need some light.
Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I don't know who his parents were, but I do know that Bill Gates will not vaccinate any of his children. And I can show you the moment Bill Gates decided to eradicate the Earth.
Yeah, but Elisa, I need to know about his parents.
Oh, his father was, I can't remember now if he was CIA. We were talking about this. Were we talking about this on one of our shows this week with Ben Barlow? I think we were talking about Bill Gates. His father was very high up. His mother also worked for major corporate. He didn't just like sit in a garage and do all this. It's
Okay.
What I'm saying is when you see these people, it's part of a bigger system. Like most people don't know that Zuckerberg had nothing really to do with Facebook. It was the CIA. How could he raise whatever the hell it was in like 2 days, $200 million or something, you know? But he's also a Rockefeller, and Tom Hanks is a Rockefeller, and, you know, Hillary, we believe, is so it's just this big club. It just comes down to that simple theory that it's this big club of people who, or whatever they are, that are looking to control. We're nothing but useless eaters and food, because if you're tying it all to the alien agenda. So the point is, they don't have our best interests. Let's just leave it at that. And you say, why? I don't know that you can get inside a lot of these people's heads to understand what their motives are, because we don't think like them.
Right.
Yeah, well,
we don't think about raping children and, you know, doing these rituals and summoning Baal and doing all this stuff. So how could you possibly know like how to understand what their gain is? Our game would be totally different if we were doing something like.
Oh, by the way, there's filtered water now in my house.
Oh, good.
Good.
Installed yesterday.
Very good.
Yeah, there's pictures, isn't there, of Bill Gates' parents with the, you know, Rothschilds and Rockefeller. It's all one big club. You see, when you've got a lot of money like that, you get invited to certain circles. You come up with plans that you need to get rid of all these useless eaters, which is why I believe Trump had a lot of money, and they sort of tried to get him involved, and he sort of infiltrated at some level, and he was the just gathering information on these fuckers. 4 decades.
That's why they hate him so much, because remember he said, I was an insider. He said that. I know these people. So they think he's part of the crowd, right? Oh, going to his wedding, we're hanging out at Trump.
Plus he's got Mar-a-Lago, you know, a lot of, Palm Beach is like the epicenter. It's even more than the Hamptons. It's the epicenter of elitism in the United States.
So now he comes down the escalator and they're all saying, we're fucked. We're fucked.
Did you see the Al Smith charity dinner where he was roasting them all, Hillary and stuff? And a lot of people are saying that is the moment.
Oh, that was it. That was his gotcha.
You could see everyone sweating because they thought, oh, you know, when they came down the escalator, they might have thought he's still a bit controlled, but certainly at that dinner, you know, and that speech I showed you last time.
Man, I really hope you guys are right. I really hope you're right. Like, really, well, I need to believe in something.
Well, look, let's look at it this way. We always say this. There are certain things that just wouldn't be happening if we're completely wrong. Are we 100% right? I don't know. But if we were really in that, like if things were really still that bad, there's too many changes happening. Like look over the last 5 years.
It's crazy. Like right now, I think right now, I feel like we're all in a tsunami. Like it's just every day it's like new. Like we're getting bombarded with change.
Yeah.
But you want to know something? It's interesting. So my dad used to say he was full. I think maybe because English wasn't his first language. It's like, but he always had a lot of wisdom, and he would tell me these things as a kid, probably when we're going fishing or something, and I would like, what? And he would say this to me. He would say, do you know what intelligence is? I'm like, well, yeah, like, doing good on tests and being smart. Like I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what he would say to me? It's the ability to adapt and change. I'm like, yeah, sure, Dad. I'm like, yeah, okay, Dad. What about the 100 on my test. It was the test. I got 100. You know, I'm a kid.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
he would say intelligence is the ability to adapt and change. You want to know something? The old man was right, because we're getting hit with a lot of stuff, and the intelligent people will be able to adapt to it and change because of it.
Yeah.
How's
And
that?
who are the intelligent, right? Because now
I think it's you guys. I think
it's
you
not,
guys are the
it's not the
intelligent
people
people.
graduating from Harvard, because they're so institutionalized and controlled. That's
Yeah,
why.
so my daughter's now you know, she's doing really well in school and her scores are going up, and she's like, Daddy, should I apply to Penn? You know, Penn's one of the Ivies. I'm like, nah, you don't have to do that. We'll find some other options.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
It was interesting what you said there. I hope you guys are right. I was watching Rambo and the guys the other night, and they were just sort of talking about this.
Yeah.
But let me I've got a little 4 or 5 minutes here we can watch.
Sure, let's do it.
It's quite, because I listen to people that are a lot more intelligent than myself, you know, and
I'll just have some water while you guys do this.
Good. All right, just have a listen to this.
That's right. We all have autism. We learn to live with our disability or our advantage, guys. Check this out. Let me share the screen real quick. And let me show you here a little confirmations that you brought up from the past. And a little reminder here, guys. Earlier, 2 hours ago, I was the hunted, and now I'm the hunter, coming from Department of War and our White House. And we've heard this before, guys, many times. And a little flashback here, June 19th, 2025. This is 3 days after Boss's birthday, comes out with the meme, trust the plan, nothing can stop what is coming. I was the hunted, and now I'm the hunter. And again, the cue drops, guys. Trust the plan. We've seen that thousands of times. Nothing can stop what is coming. Always a fan favorite. Hunters become the hunted. That is popular in 2026. And there it is, guys. On a 7-year delta, look for more direct confirmations. It's time. And this was last year. And all, throughout the years of confirmations, back in the day, we were happy if Boss would just retruth a nothing can stop what is coming. Who knows what this means? Or it means, excuse me. And now here we are in 26 with these more amazing confirmations, again, solidifying the continued plan that has been started since the beginning. And then we have this beautiful nugget, like you just mentioned, Rambo, early on. Elon coming out, the stage is set for what is to come on these amazing stages set deltas, with HRC asking for proper lighting and whatnot. Again, she was not asked to come there. She was demanded to. This was all part of the White Hat plan early on. And again, I'm truly under that belief that this is a White Hat plan and we are watching it in fruition. This is the moment of execution. And right here at the end, guys, the stage is set at the top. At the bottom, the choice to know will be yours. And the choice to know will be yours comes from the Matrix, the movie, the simulation. Now, if you take the choice is yours and kind of go a little deeper in here, here's where it gets spiritual. Here's where we tie in bloodlines and thousands of years of accumulation, if you will. House of God, only the beginning. Those who you are taught to trust the most. And Boss just put out, be careful who you follow. Yesterday on True Social with all these influencers, expect many, many, many similar reports to surface around the world. It goes deeper, connected. The choice to know will be yours. And again, it's always been that way. And here we are in 2026, watching it happen in real time. This is the beauty, but we must continue to dig in and pray. And remember, the true boss is up above, guiding this amazing journey, dude. This is great. Boom.
Wow, right, Dave? This is one.
There is more to that. I'm going to find you another bit if I can skate through it quite quickly, but there's so much going on. We're giving so many.
It shows you how early I am in this. I was trying to figure out who's the boss man.
Trumpy.
Yeah.
I mean, is he talking about God? I mean,
well, everybody really is, because that's the interesting thing. The more people we have on our show, the more people that are like, we've had people, Dr. Jan Halper Hayes, she's been on our show. She's been a consultant with the Department of War. We've had Sheila Holmes. She's, involved. She's been to Mar-a-Lago, and these people, the one thing they all have in common is a very, very strong, deep sense of spirituality and connection to God. And that you would think, based on everything we've been taught through the years, that if you're scientific or if you're, political, God has no place. And these
No,
people are all. So this is true,
that's
and believe
changed.
it's truly a
That
good
has
versus
changed.
evil.
That has changed for me like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I went from whatever to making it a central part of my existence. So it's like, wow. Wow.
Yeah. Because we keep saying this word, like we keep saying awake, awakened, but if you really think about it, we've been detached. So we're really remembering. Like this is really a remembering process within our DNA. All this stuff is in our DNA, our connection to source, however you think about God. And we're remembering. All this stuff is coming back because we knew this. The ancients knew this. The Native Americans and the Native people, they know all this stuff, right? They didn't get caught up in all the distraction, the materialism, the false idols, really. So it really is a very spiritual war that we're dealing with.
And you start looking at symmetry in the universe. Like I'm looking at everything differently now because I've opened myself to all this stuff. I look at the beauty of a flower.
Right.
I look at the sky and I appreciate it whereas before I was like, oh, the sky. I look at I no longer assume that things are independent. Like
Separate.
I started seeing like the interconnectivity of everything.
Yeah.
And it's almost like kung fu, like you're doing, kung fu, like everything is circles and that's, I was a martial artist for so many years. And now I'm putting into alignment with the universe my different martial arts moves, like all this stuff. It's like, holy crap. So between the Dungeons and Dragons, being a dungeon master, actually fighting demons in the game, I don't know if I fought Baal, but I definitely fought Beelzebub once or twice. They had like different names in the monster manual. It's fascinating. I'm actually getting back into it soon to play. It's really cool. Between that and the martial arts, it's almost like, of course I'm into this now.
Right.
Of course I'm interested because I always was. I just didn't realize it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you could go down a lot of other rabbit holes. We were talking about this yesterday, but you can't, there's not as much proof. So it just becomes a theory. But like we were talking about, what about these larger issues of time travel, of regression? Is Trump really who he is? Is he, Patton?
Right.
And they figured out the code. Like there's so many of those things that you can't really prove,
Totally.
but you could
Right.
investigate.
And along those lines, I played a game with myself the other day. Okay, who's the Antichrist? Like I'm trying to figure out who the freaking Antichrist is. What the hell is this?
If it is a person.
Right. True.
Right.
Good point.
The chatter, isn't there, that the Antichrist might actually be the cabal because everything they do is anti-God.
Right. It might be a group like the Antichrist. It's almost like a like a black mass. Like a.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a bummer for a long time, but then, if you read Bible prophecy and things, the Antichrist hasn't yet revealed himself, potentially. Are we going to see that happen? Have the White Hats put this plan in motion that they've eradicated that plan that was told to us in the Bible of how things that were meant to play out that they wanted? There's so... Yeah. We could talk about any one of these.
You guys you're making a huge difference. Like I drop little things to my friends, and this morning a friend of mine, he sends me a video, and I know I got him going on this like some time ago, a couple weeks ago. and he sends me something about exorcisms.
Hmm.
Like, this is a guy who would not send me something about exorcisms. He's sending me something about exorcisms.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say anymore, guys. You guys are really making a difference.
The awakening ripples out.
Hey, Stu, you know what I thought was really interesting? It's like a small piece. It's not a big piece. But remember when we were on with Sheila? I don't know if you had a chance to watch the video I sent you with Sheila Holm. I had sent that to you, Renee. But you know her, I just found it like part of the investigative process when she did the whole analysis of the Scherf family.
Scherf?
Yeah. Yeah,
I
the
just thought,
Bush.
I thought that would be
family,
interesting if we could
That's
capture.
the Bush. That's the Bushes.
Yeah, I thought you'd get a real
Okay.
kick out of. Are we able to maybe isolate that and bring that up, that section, if you want me to
No,
find?
because that was about half hour long, really, because she did it in sections. I kept taking the screen down and putting it back up, taking it down, put it back up. So that's quite a long thing. I can send it to
You
Renault.
guys, I'm sure you guys know this, but the Bushes were Skull and Bones at Yale.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They were
Okay,
Skull and
we'll send you. You should definitely watch Sheila's. It's long, so we'll send you some timestamps.
So my daughter goes to me, Daddy, should I join a sorority at college? I'm like, as long as it's not a secret sorority.
Okay, we're just talking about Skull and Bones. Let's see if anything happens. No date fagging here on the 22nd of March. Big.
Talk to me. What's going on?
Well, no, let's see if anything happens, because what we're seeing is celestial dates and symbol dates and stuff. They always use the same, like 9/11, but
Right.
the Ides of March and stuff. But Skull and Bones number was 322.
Ah,
So if they
there
do
you
something
go.
on the 22nd of the 3rd,
there you
you'll
go.
go. Now,
There you go.
the cabal used to do things, but we're seeing a lot of white hat moves that are happening on these dates, taking their dates back. We are doing things on their dates.
Got it.
to
Got
turn
it.
around.
Got it.
So, yeah, you know, there are many dates and stuff, and whether they work off the stars or
They're making me think now that people that are like into astrology, like, let me see your palm, like those were the freaking, they had it right. Like, people that talk about Jupiter ascending, like all this
Mercury in retrograde, which it is
like
right
when
now.
you mentioned that to me, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good point. Like, whereas before it's like, I'd be like, Elisa, just shut up.
Yeah, why do you think they got rid of all the holistic healers? When they brought in the petroleum-based medicine, and before, why do you think they got rid of all the witches?
Right? You got to make your money off the petroleum for everything. Everything.
Yeah. Why do you think they brought out the Cancer Act of 1939? Whereas that anyone that speaks that, anyone that professes they can cure cancer with anything else.
I mean, seriously? So, like, I have a saying with another friend, like, the saying, money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
My friend would say to me, no, Renee, not having money is the root of all evil. But you want to know something? I think it's both.
Having too much money is the root of
I
all
mean,
that.
then you become a Rockefeller, you advance your petroleum causes, and you destroy the world to do it. I mean, that's pretty freaking evil.
That is evil. Yeah.
And then you have the other side, you have the gangs in Haiti, Somalia that have no money. That's the root of all evil. So it's the goal, I guess, like in everything in life, is to find balance. Get in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, I think the White Hat's plan is to completely eradicate all evil. So that will be a beautiful time if that happens.
I am looking forward to it.
This is whatever's going on in Iran, and while we're all looking at Iran, whether it's happening in real time or it's scripted, I suggest there's many other things happening many other places. There's a lot of talk, isn't there, in the stuff I've listened to, that the fact that Iran can't take any oil through the Straits of Hormuz now is crippling this hidden hand of the City of London that has had over the United States.
Oh, funny you mentioned that. I had this conversation last night with this former Deutsche Bank trader, and he said, "You see what's going on there?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Lloyd's of London has lost their monopoly. It's like, what monopoly? Shipping insurance monopoly. Really? Oh yeah, that's right. I read something about that. And then he said something that shocked me, and I haven't fact checked it. You know what he said to me? He said, I haven't checked it, not sure. But when he said it, it made sense. He said, the US government is now underwriting the ships. So before it was Lloyd's, and now it's the US government acting as the insurer for these tankers. Wow. Because if that's true, that goes to the heart of very, very old money.
Do you remember when Trump had all the people in from Big Pharma and that sort of humiliation ritual we'd done? We were watching it, Lisa, remember? And they were all standing behind him. And then he said, at the end of it, he said, I'm going to do something else now, actually. I'm going to get all these insurance company people in here and stuff. We're going to go after the insurance companies, didn't they?
So if you didn't watch the conference, we watched it live. Right? We were on, I think we were on live. He has all these people, these CEOs and heads of all the major ones. I don't, Borla wasn't there from Pfizer, and someone else wasn't there. He had like a separate meeting. But a year ago, he had Borla, and it was a press conference, and it was so fake. I mean, to us, like they said nothing, but you kind of got the impression we control these people, and who knows if this guy's still around. But in this particular conference, he has all these people. He made them wait. He was late, and they're just standing there. And then he comes in, and in typical Trump fashion, he's like, "Great guy, right? What a great guy. These are great people. These are great people." And then he's explaining how this one is cutting their, by $2 billion, and this one by $3 billion. And great, these are great people. And it was just a pure humiliation ritual. And like Stu said, okay, so he's bringing that down. And then he said about the insurance. So now let's see, because it's probably done. So now we're going to see it play out.
Right. So I'm going to tell you something interesting. So before all this, before I started opening my eyes to different perspectives, let me tell you how I would see that. Okay. I would see that. I'd be like, what an asshole. Why? He's got all these people waiting for him. Why wouldn't he show up on time? It's the least you can do. Like, really, you're that busy? Are you disorganized? Are you scatterbrained? Are you just rude? Like you would think, like, it's perception's reality. I look at it like now, I was like, oh yeah, of course. Before I was like, what's his problem? He's supposed to be representing the interests of the people, and he can't even make it on time.
Trump.
You see? And it's the same set of facts. Yeah. It's the same thing. You change your eyes on it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And we're not even getting into like the specific, like there was a lot of little things like that you were noticing what he was saying, how he was saying it.
No, you were noticing it. You and Stu are, not me.
How RFK Jr. was standing behind Borla going.
Yeah.
Looking at him like Trump was looking at Fauci.
That's wild. Oh, and by the way, I thought Kennedy Jr. was insane. I'm talking certifiably insane. It's like, what is he talking about? Fluoride, that's good for your teeth. I'm like,
I know, it's sad. So sad.
We're so brainwashed. Oh, it's so awful what they've done to the people.
Let me tell you something. When I had to go to the hospital, okay, so my aunt she was so mean to me. Like, she's like, you're nothing but fucking tinfoil wearing hat. You think everything is a conspiracy. I've been taking vaccines since I'm a little kid, and they lined us up in school to get because she's born in 1947. And I remember going and getting my polio vaccine. And I'm like, okay, so this is like good ship lollipop, great memory. I'm like, okay, well, all I'm telling you is that this is not a good one and you don't need it and don't get it. She's like, fuck that, I'm going. And she's, waving her card around and everything. And then, of course, the flu is shot every year. And so I'm also trying to tell her through the years, Aunt Ro, you don't have a sugar problem. If I monitored my sugar every minute, I would have a sugar problem. I was like, you know what you eat well, you don't, like, stop. Well, I gotta monitor it. Okay. And what was the other thing? She's taking these effing statin drugs for her cholesterol. Okay. And so now I go to the hospital, right? And she's a little lucid. Then she's like off the wall and she's out of it. And I'm sitting there. And I find out, because I just didn't know, they didn't tell me, even though I've been like her kind of proxy, if you will, not legally, but just like, Elisa, do this, Elisa, do that. And I find out that she had a brain scan, a CAT scan 2 years ago that I just find out now at the hospital records. And she had brain mass loss. And she's been on these statins for years, to her own admission, years. And
Wow.
I cannot wait until they take these doctors, obviously the pharmaceuticals, they're going down if they're not already down.
I don't think it's I don't think the doctors know.
No, let me tell you why it is. I'm going to tell you why.
Is it the doctors? I think it's the manufacturers.
No, let me tell you why it's the doctors. You're supposed to be a person that someone trusts. You don't fucking vet anything. You don't ask a question in your head. You see kids getting autism and you don't think, well, there's a lot of lunatics who think it's because of the vaccines. Let me actually do a deep dive. What's in these vaccines? Oh, okay. There's aborted cells of babies. There's cells of monkeys. There's cells of, right? And you don't seem to think, maybe they're not off. You see people that 50 years ago didn't have dementia and Alzheimer's and all these things, and all of a sudden it's coinciding with statin drugs. You don't sit and think to yourself, maybe. Because if everybody had non-compliance across the board, and all these doctors that have been coming out since, pretty much since 2020, though they've been around for a long time saying this shit, they are persecuted and silenced. And so, yes, I do blame the doctors. I blame the doctors that I had to go to my pediatrician, that she's recommending my kid get a Flintstones vitamin. And I said, do you know what's in it? Because I did research. It's got methane. It's got aspartame. And she was like, now I loved her. She's like, oh, wow. So I do blame the doctors.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because now you can't even give a diagnosis. You can't say how the answer is, it's old age. No, that's not a good enough answer for me.
No, because we're going to cure them.
It comes down to ethics, doesn't it? There's a lot of good doctors trapped in this system. There's a lot of good teachers trapped in the system. There's a lot of good, people working in the banks that are trapped in the system. People working in the law industry are trapped in the system. But I believe
they all the professionals have these guidelines. And if you don't follow it, you open yourself up to liability.
Yeah.
I
So
understand that.
it's a system. So the lawyers, the doctors, the accountants, the engineers, the pharmacists, they have to follow protocol. So the issue is really, it's almost like we're the executioner. Like we're just, we're following orders. I mean, I know that's not a defense, but
Right.
the problem is more systemic than just the executioner.
Question.
Right. Because, if I do things on my terms and I don't follow legal standards, it's my ass.
Right. And I understand that. But what I'm trying to say is, when you have whistleblowers who put their life on the line, if you had a whole shitload of doctors and lawyers, whatever the profession is, to say, you know what, we can do this on the down low, let's get a lot of us together. Let's build the numbers, let's help them, let's join them. Because if there's a lot of us, what are they going to do? Number one. Number two, how many doctors during COVID would go like this? Oh, you want your COVID shot? And they'd shoot it in the garbage and they go, here you go. How many people did that with the flu shot? Do you want a flu shot? Okay, I'll write down no. Like, you still can do that without destroying yourself.
And yeah, and I think a lot of people have done, but you've got to understand that these protocols, Renee, they all come from the same place, the top of the pyramid, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. It's a systemic problem.
Yeah, which is why the end goal for these people was a one world government.
Right.
You know, that dictated to everyone. We make the decisions, 12 men sitting around the table or something, and the whole world has to follow it. Otherwise, you get put in a FEMA camp, you get your head taken off, whatever.
So, so there's, if you really, project out, you can see an incredible amount of dystopia if this carries out. So, I look at things financially. I look at things in terms of the head of my household. I'm responsible. I no longer think, it's terrible. For generations, everyone assumed that the next generation would be more successful than the prior generation. It was a given. And if you look back, for the most part, that was true. I now find myself no longer protecting myself, my immediate family. I'm now thinking about the grandkids I don't have. I'm thinking about the great grandkids I don't have. It's so crazy and upside down now that I now feel responsibility for people that haven't been born yet.
Yeah. And I think what you said there would have been right, that every generation would have been, I can't think of the words you said, but more at a higher level.
Advanced.
Right.
Yeah,
more successful. Or it was always like, it's like, and now
the reason,
did we lose you? There you are. We lost you for a second.
Your generation can't get a job. Their skills are being replaced by artificial intelligence. I feel really bad for my children. I won't tell them this, but they don't understand why they don't see me that much, and I'm always working because I'm trying to save their lives.
Yeah, but this is what's happened. Humanity has been suppressed. There's meant to be 5,974, I think, hidden technologies, patents that has been hidden from us, right? To stop us advancing humanity. You look at the technology NASA had, say, if they went to the moon, right? Now everyone's got more technology than NASA had on their mobile phone.
Mm-hmm. Much more.
So why are we still using the fucking combustion engine on cars?
And why are we still traveling in a tube, in a freaking aluminum tube?
The Rockefellers need to make money.
Exactly. When we could go Mach speed and be in California in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that myself because I personally love going to Napa Valley.
Maybe we can teleport.
Yeah.
I'll go down a local teleport station. I'll come over for dinner this evening.
As long as you can guarantee me no cellular degradation, I'll be happy to teleport.
Yeah, and don't get in there with a fly.
Right. Let's not bring the flies into the teleporter. Weird shit's gonna happen.
I'm sorry I'm being obsessive about this thing we did with Sheila, but it left such an impression on me because we spoke about a lot of these things. We spoke about it through the lens. She's extremely spiritual. She talks to God, she's like, that's who I am. That's where I channel all my, whatever she has, 18 books, you know, they've come from God, from listening to understanding what I'm supposed to do. But what I found really interesting, because we've heard of it like in our community for a long time, that the Bushes are German and their real name is Scherf. And Prescott Bush, who was 41's father, was really Scherf. And so I want you to see this, because to me, it's like one of those little puzzle pieces. And there's a photograph that she shows through, through her.
Do you want me to play that? I've just found the video, and
I just think he'll get, like, because he's always
yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
I think it's only a few minutes long.
Yeah, it really is. It's like maybe 10 minutes.
I can, where it says present, so you can
pick
it up.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it happen. Okay, so I'm going to send you two. The reason I'm going to do that, I'm sending you the first one. Then I'm going to send you the second one. My supercharger went out on my car. This father is planning out all this stuff, right? And I was in California and I was trying to get back to Georgia, and I had to get the supercharger either repaired or I needed a different car, and I was going to have a way to get another car. And so God said, I want you to call Wade. And Wade is in Missouri. And when I called Wade, he said, you must be Sheila. I'm like, what? And he said, well, God told me when you call, we're supposed to give you a tour of the Knights of Pythias Castle. The biggest one is in Springfield, Missouri. And when we do that, we're going to spend time telling you about the 72 chiefs of Babel that control all the lending and finance in America. And I'm like, are we going to talk about my supercharger? I mean, I was just like, that's what, you don't even know me and you're telling me all this amazing stuff.
Right.
So when I heard that, God said, my people don't know the truth. Now that one's really kind of blurry, but that's off of a newspaper article. The second one, if you want to put up the color one, and this one, we got the names on it. So the guy who gave up all these pictures is over under the window, Otto Skorzeny. So what Father told me to do, I didn't know any of this was about this family, okay? Didn't know how this connected at all. But when I found that, God said, I don't want you to just talk about the castles and et cetera, et cetera. I want you to talk about the control mechanism. And I said, well, what's that? And he said, it goes all the way back in time. And he started telling me that the Bush family was not the Bush family. And so they were using a fake name in America. And yet we're in all these positions of control in America, right? So he said, I want you to look up Otto Skorzeny. He had to tell me how to spell it. And I said, how am I going to find the information on him? And God said, it's in the Idaho Observer. So I went to the Idaho Observer. It's a newspaper in Idaho. And he said, now go back to the archives. So I clicked on the archives and he said, now go back to 2007. So I did that. And in April of 2007, you'll find all these articles by an investigative reporter. And Otto Skorzeny, the way he found out about this, Otto Skorzeny was talking to somebody when he was younger and gave him, and he wasn't able to release it at that time. He didn't release it until 2007. And so Otto Skorzeny ended up being the guy that was the right-hand guy to Hitler. So that's why he's tight with, you see, Joseph Mengele.
What year or circa is this photo from?
1938.
And this was from a European
Germany.
picture?
Or it's a picture in Germany in 1938.
Okay, 1938.
And George Scherf Jr. is George H.W. Bush, that was 41 president, that you see in a Navy uniform. He was in the Navy at the age of 16 in Germany, and his best friend was Martin Bormann. And his dad was who Tesla called an idiot of an illegal. Okay, and he was assigned to Tesla in America, and he was selling all of Tesla's technology and inventions and everything. And see, that's why Thomas Edison got the whole electrical thing. This is coming back to the cell towers and how everything should have been wireless with no towers. No, it doesn't need anything. And Tesla knew that. And so George H.W. Scherf Sr. Was the guy selling everything back to Germany, another right-hand guy to Hitler. And his SS code name was Prescott Bush. And so Prescott Bush, I think, was in our Senate. He was at least in our Congress, but I think he was in our Senate for several years. And this is in my books, in the book series. And I put the pictures and everything in the new book, too, of them, because Prescott Bush supposedly adopted this guy to call him Bush. The whole thing's been a lie. So George H.W. Scherf Sr. was selling the Tesla information. And when he went back to Germany for a few days, and this is all documented, George Scherf Jr. and Martin Bormann went in and took Tesla out. And then when the dad came back, he was shocked that Tesla was dead in his hotel room.
So can I just tell you that, you know, as Americans, you know, Sheila, like we have been taught to revere Thomas Edison and all of this. And when you watch really, do you know really the only thing, because he had all these very brilliant people that worked around him, the only thing he really invented was the electric chair and killed thousands upon thousands of animals, dogs, elephants, electrocuting them. Everything else was just that he was he knew how to make patents and how to, so it's mind-boggling to think how he has been elevated when he was just another piece of this horrible puzzle to take out Tesla and to disprove his theories of free energy.
Edison signed the agreement and was part of the club.
Yep.
He became the president of the Theosophical Society, which is the other kingdom. Yeah, their symbolism I shared at Reawaken Tour. I haven't put it in the books yet. The double triangle that you see as the star on the Israel flag, and I don't know if this is going to be in book 6 or 7, that's how they lived. And handwritten on the inside is an E.
We both were. You're muted, Stewie.
So I am. Yes, I am. Sorry.
You got me.
Yeah, we got you.
All right, that was.
Oop, what happened?
He needs to get himself a decent laptop, doesn't he?
He has one. He just bought a Mac. I don't know if he uses it at work.
I just think that signal he's got there, because when he had to go on his phone today, I'm sure he'll be back in a minute. He's quite tech savvy, isn't he? Yeah. But that's interesting. Do I need to play any more of that?
I don't know. Let's see. So what do you think of that? You can't hear us?
Can you hear us?
Did you hit mute?
Is your volume down?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Oh, shit.
Go out and come back in.
I'm gonna get it out, go back in.
Yeah. This is where I need to hold up a minute, because I've got all these things here that I never use, haven't I?
Yeah, I tell you, that video, just that interview we did with Sheila, if anybody didn't see it, I know a lot of the people in the chat did. They were there live when we did it, but I just find that her stuff so fascinating and
Good.
puts the pieces together. So what do you think of that?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
It's fun. When I saw Joseph, before she got to, I see Joseph Mengele.
When I saw Mengele, I was like,
yeah. And then the conversation goes on because I asked her, I said, you know, there's rumors out there.
yeah, and then and Borman. I saw Borman. I was like, Borman.
Yep.
Borman?
Yep.
I know Borman.
Now,
And then I look up and it's like Mengele?
Yep.
Like, no way.
And I said to her, there's rumors that John Podesta is the son.
Do you want to play a bit more of that then?
You want to hear a little bit more? Because
I need to.
Okay.
Because now you more than have my attention. Now it's like what is this?
I know.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think this goes on for about another 10 minutes looking at it. So we'll just see how it goes, all right?
Well, you guys are in charge. Let me know.
R.
What do you need?
I thought, well, what is that? And God said, look it up in Latin. Well, R means Regina, which is queen. So it was Queen Elizabeth initials that were in the middle of it when it was hand drawn. And it's the snake eating itself as the circle. It's got the double triangles in the middle. It's got all of this which is the upside down cross, all this kind of stuff on there, the corrupted cross. And then at the top, it has the crown. And so Queen Elizabeth was the crown, E double Roman numeral, because she was Elizabeth II, right? And so then she was there. And when Charles was supposedly crowned, it was supposed to be William, but when he was crowned, he leaned forward on the, it was a gold chair, and no, it was a red chair, I think. But anyway, there was gold and red. I think the drape was gold, and then the chair was red. He leans forward, and here's the crown, and then C3, because they named him as Charles III. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. but they've been controlling this. And when you mention, Stu, the names of these people, these aren't even the people who are supposed to be ruling England. And so they're the ones ruling this whole thing. So Edison joined that organization, the Theosophical Society. When our Gates came back from the World War I from England, they ended up giving them free memberships. Guys didn't know what it was, didn't know what they were getting into. Abner Doubleday, that created baseball, all the symbolism of baseball are the secret societies. They've got the Masonic symbols and everything. It's all been in front of us the whole time. But it was either right before or right after. Abner Doubleday and Thomas Edison were president of this whole organization. And Alice Bailey is part of it, who was told by Lucifer to do the textbooks for the public schools so that everyone would be corrupted within 100 years. It was a 100-year plan to corrupt all of our generations in 100 years. And that's why compulsory school education.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just all of this, and they're all part of that same society that became eugenics, and that's where they believe they're going to become a living God. And that's why they're doing all of this with the DNA. And that's why they're doing all this with the mRNA. That's why, I mean, all of this has been planned out for a long, 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 long time.
Yes.
But if we can bring up that color picture again, I want to share some of the other people. So you see Scherf, because there's Mother Scherf, who's the mother of George H.W. Scherf Sr. And then you see Junior and Borman. You see Reinhard Gehlen is right in front. You see Joseph Mengele is there. Okay. So these are their families enjoying what it is that they're doing. And by 38, just think about all of Americans that were killed in those two wars, in World War I and World War II. So, but Otto Skorzeny had all of these pictures in there and all of the history. So if you go to those archives in 2007 in April, you'll see the same investigative reporter with all those newspaper articles. And a lot of this reference information is in the new book, and it's also in book 5, and it may be in book 4 also. But I first started talking about this in book 4 once I found out about the Knights of Pythias. That's why George H.W. Scherf Jr. had to be in Skull and Bones. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
He had to be. And that's why in the new book, God had me take the brothers of George H.W. Scherf Sr. and say what they were doing. Because then George W., the son of George H.W. Scherf Jr., he wasn't George Bush Sr., and it was H.W., and George is only W. And so people confuse it when I say that George W., because the president's not saying the last name anymore. He said on when he left the skiff and Maduro's situation and got on the plane and he was flying back to D.C. during the night on that Sunday night to Monday to be in D.C. on Monday. When he was on the plane, he was talking to the press and he said, "You guys keep asking me about an insurrection. And don't you understand? George W. did it 22 times while he was president." And so people wrote to me and go, "I checked George H.W. Bush Sr. and he only did it twice." Well, he was Bush 41.
Right.
And Bush 43 is the son, and he's the one that did it 22 times. He's the one that put in the Patriot Act. He's the one that set us in for Desert Storm and started the whole war in Iraq and Afghanistan for his father's sake, because they mocked his father when he was president.
Yep.
So we've got to know who these people are. So I put in everything that that George Scherf Jr. and his son were in. So, and it was the Kennedy, President Kennedy and his brother, the AG, who brought in Prescott Bush and told him they knew who he was. And they were releasing his sanctioned money if they would, if he would sign that nobody in his family, now that they know who he is, because Eisenhower told Kennedy all of this truth, right? And so he said, you have to sign that you will never have anybody in your family in again. And he had to resign that day. So he resigned. He signed the document. That was September 1963. And in November, the George Scherf Jr., that is Bush 41 that you see in this picture, that guy who was Bush 41 president, that guy was in charge of the team in Dallas, Texas. And he said, I think I was in Texas yesterday, but I think I was in Houston. Did you guys say I was in Dallas? I think I was in Houston. He was all confused, right? But the only man, and this is in the new book, the only debrief I can find from J. Edgar Hoover, who was over the FBI, and that's why there's more than 60 pages in that .35 about the FBI, is that this George H.W. Scherf Sr., Jr., this guy was the only guy that J. Edgar Hoover debriefed on the Kennedy assassination. Not who's on his team, not the guy that did the guns, not the guy that did the sniper, not the guy. He had 3 guys on his team. There's confessions on YouTube of the people that were on those teams, because the families made them when they were in the hospital and dying. Their family made them do a confessional video, and so that it would all be known and they could relieve their heart and mind of what was done on November 22 of 1963, and they all confirmed the same truth. But when he was debriefed by Hoover, there was absolutely nobody else questioned, and that has never, ever, that full thing has never been shared with the public, only with the elites.
Sheila, my brain is going so fast. I have so many questions about this photo and the lineage. So So Otto Skorzeny, what's his connection to the lineage?
Otto Skorzeny was the tight right-hand man to Hitler.
And how is he related to the Scherfs or not?
Well, he, Mengele, Gellen, Bormann, the names that we have heard for centuries, I mean, for decades.
Right.
This is the team. This is the Hitler team.
And there's speculation, I don't know, rumors that say that Joseph Mengele's son or lineage was the Podestas. Is that just made up lore, or is there truth to that?
There could be truth to that. Look at his face. But here's the funny part. Did you know who his top guy was?
Mengele, Joseph Mengele's top guy?
Was
No.
Fauci. Fauci interned with him and then was mentored by him through his career.
Wow. And people do refer to him as worse than Mengele. You know, if you hear the
Well, that was the goal. Every generation has been treated worse. And that's why everybody went silent. They killed truth speakers. They've done it in our generation. They did it during COVID.
Yeah.
That's on my, I don't know if we've ever talked about the day I was targeted at the Linwood event. The other 5 speakers all went to the hospital thinking that they would get help in the hospital, and they took them out. All 5 were dead within a month. And then that was August 19 was the main guy, Prescott. And so when Presley Stutz was, he was a chaplain in the Navy for 30 plus years, but he was already sweating. And Scott McKay said, he looked at the picture of me leaving and he goes, your eyes, look at your eyes. You were already hit. But I didn't think, but we all had the same symptoms, and it was a 12-day process. And the reason, I mean, this is how much they've perfected this. Remember when President Trump brought Fauci on stage with Birx and he said, these are your HIV specialists. These were the guys who did HIV. That wasn't from a monkey. That was in the lab. Yeah. Lyme has the same root as HIV, and they put that root in the COVID targeting because they put everything that's in the vax in the COVID targeting. So you think you're helping yourself by not getting the vax, and then they said we were going to get it in osmosis. There's no way that what they're doing with EMF weapons, drones, you don't even know when they're doing it or how they're doing it to you. When they're doing this, there's no way that somebody could put protein spike, because I've seen all this stuff. There's no way somebody could just walk by you and it would leap from that person into you. It doesn't even make sense, but it's all scare tactics. So then we stay isolated from each other. Then what happens? Nobody knows the truth because nobody's talking to anybody. See what they did?
Yes.
They locked him down. Can't have more than 6 people at your house at Thanksgiving. Who are you to tell me I can't have 22 people at my house for Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
You know, but everybody fell for it. But it's the same control as
not everybody,
guys.
right? Not us.
The experiments have never stopped. Mengele experiments have never stopped. President Trump now says he's going to be releasing all the alien information. And a lot of the pictures that people have shown me, they look like the test experiments that they do underground, because that's why so many of the children were underground, having babies underground.
Yeah.
They were having babies before they were fully mature.
Sheila, one other question about this. You said about, spraying. Is this all related to the chemtrails, and are we safe? Are they still controlling it? Like, so many people in the chat were asking about that, and there's concerns.
Well, that's why you'll see on my health products page, I had no idea it's heavy metals. But see, that's what works for people of the other kingdom. They need all of that stuff. And because everything didn't work for them, they're doing everything to work for them that is hard on us. So I've been detoxing for a long time now.
Yeah, she goes into a bit of detoxing stuff there and everything.
What's the other kingdom?
Their kingdom, I believe.
Who's there? Like the extraterrestrials?
No. I think it's the elite, right? The people that want us dead, right? The cabal.
Right. Can you in a nutshell just tell me who's in the cabal?
Well, Elisa, you're muted, by the way.
Who?
Right.
I just want to know, like.
Okay, we don't know half the people. Like, let's just put it that way.
Tell me some people.
All right. Remember, Trump said he was talking and he made it sound like he put it very basic. This was about, oh my God, 6, 8, 7 years ago. And he said, you could be sitting next to someone and you wouldn't know who they were. You wouldn't know who they were. Now,
and by the way, what a nice family that seemed like. It turned out they were the arms of extreme evil. Like, it's like a family photo.
And,
Yeah.
and
Holy
wait till
crap.
you hear some of the other testimonies later of these people
Jesus.
who have been in these satanic rituals where they're present.
Anyway, back to the cabal.
Yeah, the true criminals, right? They don't walk about in fucking suits with arrows and masks on their faces. They wear
Right.
$5,000 and $10,000 suits, right? And they pretend to be your friend. But I think what this is all leading to is we're getting names like Epstein and Clintons and all this sorts of stuff, but these people are still just minions,
They're
right?
low, right?
Potentially the true people at the top of this pyramid, and you can go as high as Lucifer and Satan, but who's under them and how does it work? We do not yet know their names. We know about George Soros's and the Bill Gates and these big families and the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and stuff. But who allowed them to be in positions of power, etc.? Are these the top? Are they just minions themselves? Yeah, more to
We
come.
can talk about who's cabal related. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
who's
I mean,
part of
is the cabal, is it draconian or is it Luciferian? Who does it serve?
Well, it serves them, right?
Who is them?
So
Who is
you're
them?
either in
I
a
want
universe-
to figure. Listen, everything in the world that has to do with a hierarchy is like a pyramid, right? Everything's a pyramid. I'm trying to figure out who's the bottom, and like I want to go up the chain. I want to know who these people
Okay, so we don't
are
specifically know,
serving.
but Dylan Monroe did a beautiful map.
Did I show you the hierarchy pyramid before?
No.
Those maps.
Right.
Remember?
I'm going to find it.
You've sent me this humongous thing where it's like a mishmash of interconnected madness. That I appreciated incredibly, but in terms of like a hierarchy, I don't have a hierarchy yet. I need to understand
He did
who's
a hierarchy
who's being fed by all this evil.
I think that's what you're finding, right? And like, who knew?
Yeah,
I didn't know. Like, I'm raised Catholic my whole life. We have the Pope. And then I find out there's the gray Pope and the black Pope. And
no idea.
This
well,
is a
this
map.
had, oh,
This is a map
see it better.
from Dylan Lewis Monroe from the Deep State Mapping Project called the World Hierarchy Pyramid. Can you see that okay, Rennie?
Yeah, I'm I'm opening it. I'm on a phone, but
yeah.
Okay, here we go.
This is potentially what Trump, the White Hats, this military operation, Sovereign Alliance is taking down. So obviously you've got us here at the bottom, sheep, cattle, general population, peasants, right? Then you've got football, religion, medical, government, legal, education, media, Netflix, world population control. You've got corporations above that, banking, credit cards, big pharma, big tech, energy. Above that, you've got the IMF Bank, the World Bank, the Bank of International Settlements, the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, the EU, all these sorts of people. Then it sort of delves in a bit deeper.
yeah, so the next one shows sort of the difference between like the one side and like going further and further up, right? So you have the secret societies, right?
I expected something a lot more simple than this. This is mind-blowing.
Yeah. You've got BlackRock, Khazarian Mafia, you've got the Masonic symbol in the middle, right. Bilderberg groups, Octagon Group, Knights of Templar, Knights of Malta, Red Cross. There's so much here. The Illuminati, the Committee of 300, Switzerland, the New World Order. It's crazy.
Jesus.
Going into, I'm trying to get as big as I can for it.
Oh my God! Look.
Priesthoods, the Vatican, the Kabbalists, the Order of the Garter.
You've brought in the I see you've brought in the Asians.
Yeah, the House of Sard, Sharia law, which is a warlock's
black magic, the Bushido Code, House of Windsor. This is insane.
I can send you this.
No, I want to put it on my wall.
Yeah, you can buy it as a
You
poster.
can buy it, yeah.
Or what's it called? So I could just go buy it now. Like I just want it on. I'm gonna blow it up, put it in my freaking office.
I'll send it to you because Dylan's got some free downloads. So I'm going to give you Dylan. Right?
Because at this point, I don't care who calls me crazy.
Now
Yeah,
keep going up because like we got to get to the top, right? He wants to see the top.
I mean, I bought the download. This is how I can zoom in on it so well.
Yeah, I want to buy it. Like so,
You can buy it in a big tapestry.
I'll put it next to my deer.
Yeah. So I mean, you've got the Draco reptilians, Enki and Enlil, Satan, the Orion Emperor, and this goes up into sort of angelic realms, extra dimensional, chimeras, demons, ghosts, God's law, common law, karma. It's just insane. I posted this on my Facebook the other day with a comment for why is it taking so long, people? Because they don't understand. And I mean, this is talking about going up into, I am that I am, angels and dominions and all sorts of stuff. But it's just amazing that the works Dylan has put into this, and he's done other pyramids. He's got maps.
Wow.
I mean, I just take, let's put that down. Let's take it off screen because I'll send you that so you look at it properly. If I just take that silly background off for a second, I've got that there that I might have sent you.
Yeah, that one I've seen.
Yeah,
that's the mishmash one. Like it's all, but the other one, at least it's hierarchical, so I can kind of understand where it's all heading in a way.
And this one here, Rene, is the healing web. Yeah.
That looks like the New York City subway system.
This is all holistic medicine, this side, versus Big Pharma, that side. And it's got all the things down the middle. It's amazing, really. But Dylan's done so many maps.
Elisa, you should show that to my cousin Vivian.
Please, every time I ask her a question, like I could say, how's everything going? Because his aunt, Georgia's mom, is in the hospital, and we're just praying that she responds. But I said to her last night, I said, let me ask. And Georgia, of course, has been talking to her about doing breathing exercises and this, and then nobody listens. And so I said, well, I just have a question. Like, they keep giving her more and more. I mean, her body is completely overloaded at this point, her already delicate system. Like, do you think that might not be helping? Crickets.
Right. It's because their dogma is that.
And I don't even want to tell you how many, like, I had to sit there. Now, remember, I'm the only one. So I went there for Vivian's birthday a couple of months ago, and I just overhear the conversation. I'm like, I'm going to definitely lose it. They're like, well, I'm going on Monday. What about you? Yeah, I got to get my booster. And I was like, la, 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 la. Like, I couldn't hear it.
Oh, boy.
Crazy.
Oh, boy.
So I thought you'd appreciate that little snippet of one of the control mechanisms and how that came to the United States. And then, of course, if you want to, that's a whole very interesting rabbit hole, because if you ever heard of Project Paperclip, that was when we brought all the scientists over from Nazi Germany to the United States, which everyone says, well, of course, they were brilliant and we want them here because we should have them than. But what it really was the Fourth Reich controlling our country. And we never won the war. We defeated the Germans, but we did not defeat the Nazis. So that's what a lot of people don't understand. That's what they're fighting. That's part of
America, started NASA, started the CIA, started all these other programs. And
MK Ultra. Yeah.
Well,
and
people talk about World War III. World War II never ended.
Yeah.
Right.
And what we believe is in Ukraine, they were still fighting Nazis over there.
I give up. I know nothing. I've come to the realization that I'm as dumb as dirt.
No, you're not. You just
No,
haven't
you're not.
remembered, and you haven't opened that portal in your
My
mind up.
God,
That's
I
all.
cannot even understand how do you live such fiction?
It's what they did. It's the indoctrination process, the news. Um, you know what he would love when he gets a little more like we talk with these guys and we do analysis of music and lyrics and how more than likely the whole music industry was very controlled,
Right.
meaning there's a narrative like, oh, Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, they were just like sitting around and they came up with these lyrics, and then it's like, I don't
Maybe
know if they
not.
really did.
Maybe not.
And then you look at the broad scope of all the music
Maybe not.
and what they were saying in the 1970s that's happening now. And it was like, it's kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like a diversion from this kind of like depressing stuff to look at like, oh, there were a lot of signs and it's fun. It's like a little scavenger hunt. But yeah, so much of this we were just, and then they dumbed us down with the fluoride. You got to remember, like, it's a poison, but it dulls you.
Right.
It calcifies the pineal, and the pineal is what connects us to source.
So let me ask you this: what can I do to undo some of that damage? Like, is there any?
You mean metabolically?
Yeah, I mean, with my brain, my pineal gland, is there anything I could do?
Stop fluoride.
I know there's some research coming out of Japan involving sound waves.
Oh yeah, all that stuff is great, but you want to do
as a treatment
first.
for. So I was thinking the other day, it's a treatment for Alzheimer's involving sound waves. It's coming out now. In my mind, well, if it works for Alzheimer's, shouldn't it work for anybody?
Yeah, all that stuff is real.
I mean, it's like you don't have to have Alzheimer's to get sound waves at a certain frequency over time and get rid of whatever calcifications, like you call them, or anything that has obfuscated the synapses, if you will.
Yeah. So
and almost give us like a young brain again.
Well, so I think you just want to be basic, and we have so many people in the chat saying so many great things about like what to do, to heal. You want to do basics first. Stop all the fluoride. You need to look at your products, right? The products you're putting on your skin. The skin absorption through the skin is even faster than through the digestive system. That's why taking these baths, with the baking soda and the Epsom salt and the bentonite clay and the boron. That was another thing, the borax. They because we need boron, but they told us, oh no, stick it in the detergent aisle, and then everybody will be afraid to use it because it's detergent. So you want to take those kind of baths. You want to start looking at clean, right? Clean, everything clean. You want to make sure you're using distilled water, right? You could buy that.
I did that. Thanks to you,
Yeah.
I was able to get a water filtration system in my house. So thank you very much.
So it's those little things, if you're taking, like, don't take Tylenol, don't start to do some research about, and through us or through like a lot of like my Telegram channel, I always put healing stuff, and there's a lot of channels I've given you. So you start to say, oh, okay, so I'm not going to eat this and I'm going to eat that. And wow, I didn't realize, if I have, example, pumpkin seeds, that's really good for getting rid of parasites. Is it a full cleanse? No, but it's definitely helping, right? And so it's little things you could do. Get lots of sun. They vilified the sun. You can't be in the sun, and you got to put, how come the skin cancer rates went? If it's true that the sun is so bad and we're using sunscreen to protect it, then why have the skin cancer rates gone up? Because it's poison. They're poisoning us, and we're not getting the sun and the vitamin D. So ground, walk outside. I mean, obviously there's snow, but walk on the grass, hug trees. Like, those are the simple things you can do to start to heal. And then start looking at your food. You're buying organic, local, vegetables and meats.
Grass-fed and stuff. And I just want to add to that. When we all got booted off Twitter in January 21, a lot of us moved to Telegram, but about a year later, so about 3.5, 4 years ago, I think, I set up a new group. It's private. It's called Stu's News Doctors Helpline. And I've made about 150,000 posts in my Stu's News of various things. But in my Stu's News Doctors Helplines, I have piggybacked essential information, protocols, people talking about natokinase, doctors talking, very many doctors that were speaking out, giving protocols and various other things. And that has only got about 117 posts in it. So when I send you my Telegram Stu's News link to join, I'll send you that as well. And if anyone else wants it in the chat, who's listening,
Thank you.
you can send me a message, send me an email, stewiem333@gmail.com, and I'll send you the invite link. There's so much information in there. You know, when Zev Zelenko was on, protocols for taking ivermectin and all this sorts of stuff, people talking about fenbendazole, how they're being cured of, or it's helping with their cancers and all this stuff. There's a lot in there, especially I did it for people that took the jab that wanted to, and I haven't put it out there publicly, just people have got to ask, you know, but there we go. It's there.
But you got to remember, like, even if you say like, oh, I took it and we all got vaccinated at some point, what the fuck?
So let me ask you something. If I were to just tell my family, do not ever get another vaccine again, can some of the damage be reversed a bit?
Yeah, I would have thought so. Dr. Peter McCullough says that, look, if a lot of people that have taken a jab, any of these COVID jabs, are not showing any symptoms or anything 2 or 3 years later, you're probably fine. Because what it was is that I started taking N-acetylcysteine, NAC, and other things and doing that because the unvaccinated people were hanging around with vaccinating people. And it was all this talk about this protein, spike protein shedding, right? That a lot of us, that, you know, I drove a taxi at the time. I was taking it to go to work, NAC, because all the people getting in and out my cab were jabbed up. It's just something you have to do to protect yourself. But NAC is a great thing that people talk about. But all this information, or a lot of it, is in that little group of mine.
Yeah. And remember, just remember this. We all got vaccinated, whether we were kids, whether we took a flu shot, even all of us who were so brilliant and didn't take the COVID shot, right? We still don't know. Was a lot of it saline? Do we see all these turbo cancers because there was time release in the other things like the Gardasil? We're seeing kids that didn't get a COVID shot, got the Gardasil when they were a teenager. And then, you know, 7 years later, they're having a myocarditis. So what's the connection, right? So the point I'm trying to make is do not live in fear, because that is the one thing that lowers the vibration and prevents you from being closer to God and healing yourself. So what I would say is just do some of these protocols. Don't get any more. I personally think a lot of what we're seeing with the COVID jab, to an extent, I'm sure it's multifaceted, is from ones we took years ago. So,
and I would add to that, probably
he's having trouble hearing. He's having.
He's gone.
He's probably coming back in.
Yeah. And how long have you got?
I got to get off. I was going to say, but you could, if he's got a few.
No. Yeah. So when I get a phone call, because we had the issue with the Wi-Fi this morning again. So every time I get a phone call, that's what happens.
I was just going to say, I would suggest that if anyone is thinking like you are, and I've just done one myself about 3 months ago, I think it's worth everyone doing a parasite cleanse.
We're going to do that together.
I want to do that. I need to do that. That's
and I'm having my daughters do it too. So like, you could do it, Gisela. Like it's not a big deal. It's just a certain protocol.
Yeah, I want to do it. 100%.
Yeah. Don't live in fear. That's all what I was trying to say.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like you don't even think about, like you think parasite, you're thinking, okay, was I in the Amazon rainforest? No. You know, was I bathing like in a local lake with stagnant water? Like you don't think of a parasite unless you expose yourself to
but we're animals. Why do you have to deworm horses and dogs? And we are animals. Like our bodies are the same way. And there was things like 100 years ago, they used to every year they would go through these rituals. Like it was just part of like spring cleaning.
Yeah.
To clean, but then they told us, get away from all that and take a pill.
Yeah,
Right.
and we've seen plenty of videos and stuff with people pulling little parasites and stuff out of meat. So if you are eating meat, I always cook my meat well anyway. If if people are eating a lot of raw stuff like sushi and things like that, you've got more chance.
I got a problem because I am a sushi fanatic.
But I don't think that matters. I think if you're doing other things and you're aware and you're doing some detoxing, I think you'll be fine.
Well, then I have to, because I had sushi last night. I had it yesterday. And I also had it on Tuesday.
Okay. So
and I don't just get sushi. I get like sushi. Good sushi. It's one of those little treats I give myself for putting up with so much stuff.
Yeah.
Well, can I just ask one favour then? When I come over there and we plan a meal to go out and all together, can we not go for sushi? Because
we will go to overly cooked meat steakhouse.
Yeah, a nice
he
big
wants
steak
to have a good steak.
or a really nice curry house. Lovely. And I'll be sorted.
We have some phenomenal Indian food here in New York.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's good to hear.
I'm talking really, really good. I have the place for you. It's in Manhattan. It's called, I'll tell you, it's a plug, I guess. It's called Tamarind. Tamarind. It is now in Tamarind. You've heard of it. It's in a converted bank. They took an old bank.
Yes.
Let me tell you, and I've gone there many times, and every time I go, the owner is there. So it's a restaurant where you're going to meet the owner. So whenever that happens, it's really, really well done. The service is impeccable. The food is out of this world. So we'll go to Tamarind.
Beautiful. Can you wear shorts?
I don't think so.
Oh God.
Yes. So I think we're coming up on the 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a
Can we go over Iran more next week? Because I'm very curious about Iran.
What I shall do, Renee, over this next week of watching stuff, analysis, I will dig out something that really goes deep into Iran. I've watched loads of stuff already anyway, but what I shall do from now onwards, the next thing I see, I'll forward it on to you.
Yeah, because it's so easy for me, because everything is so new. It's so easy for me to get sidetracked.
Yeah, of course.
Because everything is interesting. This whole thing with the Bushes is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing.
Now, did you watch the Devolution series?
No. Remember, I need to be fed. I need my my Gerber.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to send you the X22 report. That's one thing you can watch every day, the geopolitical version. But I'll send you all those links now. Keep your eyes on WhatsApp. All right?
All right. Great, guys. Thank you again. You're the best. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Yeah, so you've got to go, Elisa.
I do. Love everybody in the chat. And we'll be back
2.5 hours for Johnson.
12:30 Eastern. With Jason Q. Okay, see you guys later.
Cheers, guys. Love you. Thank you. Where we go one, we go all. Love, not fear. And we'll all get there.
In a world flooded with noise, clarity has become rare. People are questioning what they're told and searching for something real. Mr. Heal's modern wellness meets old school remedies. CBD tinctures, methylene blue, gummies and edibles, THC-free wellness, and functional remedies crafted with old school care and modern precision. Biozox, a trusted source for ivermectin and fenbendazole. Biozox, believe your health decisions should be yours, not dictated by politicians or big pharma. crafted with purpose and precision. Freedom-forged coffee, cacao and mushroom tinctures, small batch roasted coffee, rich cacao and functional mushrooms crafted with purpose. Verity Metals, redefining what precious metals investing should be. Why choose Verity Metals? We're not just another gold dealer. We're a trusted retirement partner. Our clients choose us because we lead with education, integrity, and transparency. Medical bills are the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States, accounting for 66.5% of bankruptcies. We can all agree the healthcare system is broken. There is an alternative: impact health sharing, which Yahoo News is calling the disruptor in the $4.6 trillion healthcare system. For more information, visit patriotsacrossthepond.com.